Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. WNBA Sophie Cunningham stuns the internet and Caitlin Clark with her Arby's content. Dirt track brawl and Reds win. Now I'm really back to work. For those of you who were here over the weekend, you saw that I was producing screen caps from northern Michigan for a couple of days. Now I'm back in Ohio after a marathon of a drive through Detroit, where Google Maps decided to take us the back roads from north of Pontiac all the way to Livonia, using side roads as the fastest way home. I've determined that I prefer just sitting in a traffic jam versus stopping at 200 lights on the side roads. I've also determined that we will never again come home on a Sunday. It's Monday from now on. Quick hitters from the trip before we return to regularly scheduled programming. I keep wondering who's going to buy all the lake houses when the boomers die off. Are there really that many Gen XS and millennials who will inherit and maintain these properties? On this trip, it felt like we've reached the peak baby boomer lake house moment. Yes, Chicago will continue to pump in significant money to buy lake houses, but will Chicagoans care to own east of I-75 10 years from now? I don't see it. Pick your own raspberries was a hit. $14 to pick 2 pints of raspberries turned out to be the best deal in fruits and vegetables we saw. Taste testing the merchandise was a big moment for the boys, who liked it so much they begged us to go back a second time. We spent $99 per night for a studio with 2 fold-out couches for the kids to sleep on. I believe it's the cheapest accommodations in northern Michigan right now. Shorts Brewery in Bel Air, Michigan lived up to my expectations. You should have seen the money the boomers were throwing around in that place. It was like Siesta Key in that place. Yes, we visited the Pizza Hut Classic in Charlevoix. I saw the sign and knew you guys would crush me if we didn't stop in. Great place. Well worth the visit. Hashtag not sponsored. There was a Radio Shack a mile down the road in a strip mall. I don't know for sure, but this might be the only town in the U.S. that has a Hut Classic and a Radio Shack. There are just 5 Radio Shacks remaining in Michigan. Ohio has 2. The traffic in Traverse City is ridiculous to the point where I prefer not to go through there again in July. The boys and I climbed the Sleeping Bear sand dunes together for the first time. We made it to trail post number 9, which offers a view of Lake Michigan, before determining it was time to turn around. Screen Caps the 3 is officially one of the boys. He didn't complain a bit about the hard work to make it up the dunes. Hunting for Petoskey stones, a fossilized coral, turned into a highlight of the trip for Mrs. Screencaps and the kids. I had to pull her away from shores of Grand Traverse Bay. Up north never disappoints. We will continue to make these trips the rest of our lives. Would I ever own a place up there? Never say never, but there's no way I'd consider owning until the boomers start dumping. There were very few for sale signs. I've heard enough about the Brickyard 400 being a crown jewel. After getting home, I sat down and watched the final 19 laps of the Brickyard, which was the first NASCAR action I've consumed since the Daytona 500. Can we stop calling the Brickyard a crown jewel for the NASCAR world? Yes, it was like 105 degrees in the sun around IMS. But, still, there were like 35,000 people at Sunday's race. Yes, I understand there were over 200,000 people at this track in 1994. I grew up 90 miles east of Indy. We were very aware of how popular those early days of NASCAR were to Indy. Bubba Wallace wasn't even a year old in 1994 when the place was packed. He's never known this as a crown jewel race. Yet, I was being bashed over the head by the TNT crew, calling this a must-win race to seal one's legacy in the sport. That ship has sailed. Am I wrong?